I walked into the hall at the beginning and I thought I didn't feel the energy of a graduation ceremony. So I'd like to borrow from the words of an important elder in our community, Tate Usko, and I'd like to ask O Memeno Tate, Natuninganyi Tare? Yaron, O Mishiramon Bada? Kandimuvite O Memeno Tate? Yaron. Thank you. Onda Pandora Chinen. Oshonana Chinakukarangaka. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure in being with you this morning to offer some remarks during the occasion of the University of Namibia's Northern Campus's graduation ceremony. As a graduate myself from the University of Namibia, I know the journey that many of you have walked. And as a former student leader at the University of Namibia, where I served as a Secretary General of the Student Representative Council for all 12 campuses in 2018, I have an even better idea of the journey we have traveled to get to this day and sit in this very hall this morning. I know for most of us, it isn't an easy journey. It took a lot of hard work, sacrifices, and determination to finally cross the finishing line that you'll be crossing today. Allow me to reflect a little on some thoughts I had since being invited to be a guest speaker at this very occasion. Dear graduates, I want to start off with a quote from Prince Rahim Aga Khan, who said, and I quote, "Throughout your studies and your youth, adults will tell you that the future is ahead of you. I want to tell you that the future is what you leave behind you, shaped by every one of your actions and the statements and your decisions. The future follows behind you in the path that you choose," unquote. And I want all of us to reflect on this quote as I deliver the rest of my speech. First, I want to speak about the change of leadership. On 21st March 2025, Namibia made history by inaugurating its first female president, but also its fifth democratically elected president, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Both these, being the first female president and the fifth president, hold such significance for such a young democracy such as ours. To achieve this in 35 years of a democracy only gaining independence in 1990, where we have a consistent change of political leadership at the highest level every 5 years, essentially should be appreciated, although expected. Somebody was saying the other day that although Namibia in 1990 was the youngest democracy in the world, we are now the oldest democracy on the continent because of the strides we have done in ensuring that we have continuous, transparent, efficient elections every 5 years to choose the leaders that the Namibian people will choose to lead them. And in doing so, in all those years, we have not had civil war, we have not had a coup d'etat. Our country has continued to function efficiently the way it should have been since we gained our independence in 1990. So I'd like to thank all of the leaders since 1990 who made sure that we're able to have a change of guard democratically, and that we can now say Namibia has reached the milestone of inaugurating its first female elected president and also its fifth elected president in a space of 35 years. Secondly, I would like to speak about being consistent and being disciplined. As a student, I'm sure with your journey, you had to ensure that you are consistent in the way you approach your studies in order to be here this morning. But I'm also sure that the motivation you had in first year didn't necessarily take you all the way to the end of your journey, whether it's your 2 years in the diploma, 4 years in an honors degree, or even further into your postgraduate studies. I'm sure that motivation wanes, like it does for all of us. What remains consistent and valuable until you reach you reach the end of the line is discipline. And that is why after this graduation ceremony is over and the congratulations have come to an end, every single person in your life who wishes you well has said congratulations. All of that will definitely fade as time goes by. And this great achievement you made today will be that stepping stone in what you do in the next area of your life. Therefore, it is only discipline and consistency that will take you further from this morning as you graduate into the next phase of your life, whatever that may look like. Whether it's the work that the Vice Chancellor was talking about, saying that you don't want a job that you definitely want to work, whether you work in a job, whether you work as an entrepreneur, or whether you continuously work to be a productive citizen of Namibia in whatever capacity you undertake. But it requires consistency, and it definitely requires discipline outside of motivation that definitely wanes over time. The second thing is education first. You knew what you were doing at the University of Namibia, and that is why we are here this morning. But more than that, in terms of the degree or diploma that you're getting to showcase and put up on a wall that I've made this great achievement, the most important thing at the end of the day is the ability to have a skill, a marketable skill. And that is why I reflect on when I was a student. I used to be a busybody during my undergraduate studies at the university. I was a member of almost every society on campus, from debate to the environmental society, and all kinds. The law society, as I graduated as a lawyer. But I knew firsthand that the reason I was at the University of Namibia was to gain knowledge and the necessary skills to ensure that the degree that I will receive after the 4 years means something. But fortunately, the life at the university allows you to be skilled outside of the lecture room. You need interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills. You need to learn how to properly organize, how to prepare to fight with management in my years as a Secretary General of the SRC, how to advocate for issues that don't even affect you, how to stand up for others. So this degree alone does not come necessarily with those skills that a university setting and your peers allow you to learn. And that is why, as careers are evolving and new and emerging industries are popping up, education often requires students to adapt to new environments, to work in diverse teams, and handle challenging situations. These experiences enhance adaptability and flexibility, valuable traits today in today's dynamic job market. And I can tell you, if you do not have the skills, you will not survive in an ever-changing job market. Many professions require advanced degrees for career progression, of course, but education can unlock higher-level opportunities and increase earning potential. Employers often value the dedication, the commitment, the specialized knowledge that graduates bring to the table. On a personal growth and confidence front, undertaking an undergraduate or postgraduate degree challenges individuals to think critically, analyze complex problems, and develop solutions. It fosters personal growth, confidence, and the ability to tackle challenges with a higher level of competence. So when you get this qualification, ladies and gentlemen, dear graduates, you are simply communicating to the world out there that you have this particular skills and abilities to adapt, to be flexible, and to see any challenge head on that you might face after you leave this hall this very morning. At the Ministry of Information Communication Technology, we want to play our part in all of this. We are always open to collaboration to integrate technology into our daily lives, to give us all a chance to thrive. This is why we are talking to Google AdSense, for example, for monetization while continuing our core work of expanding network infrastructure, securing our cyber world through the NAMCERT that we launched only on Monday, and offering digital literacy lessons amongst many. As you leave this hall, dear graduates, whether you have studied education, law, accounting, nursing, it does not matter. The world out there requires you to be flexible. And that is why when I said we are talking with Google AdSense, it's because we see that many young professionals are now into content creation as an avenue to ensure that they gain the necessary money in terms of monetization from YouTube, for example, or also to add another skill to their already established arsenal from which their qualification is from. So it's important to practice multidisciplinary approaches in the way we face the world out there. You have now passed this hurdle, dear graduates. Where to from here? And how will you get there? My most simple answer is I do not know. This is because the possibilities are endless. When I graduated from the University of Namibia in April 2019 with my undergraduate degree, I did not know that in less than a year, I will be sitting in Parliament as a parliamentarian, let alone that I will become a deputy minister in the government of the Republic of Namibia. So anything is possible. The world is literally your oyster. But here is the catch, here is the reality. You need to make it possible. There will be hills and valleys, ups and downs like a merry-go-round, and you will have to endure those ups and downs. There might be a little bit of struggle for some of you on how to land on your feet post this graduation, and some others might pivot completely from what they studied. But all of that is all okay. But there is something I can encourage you to do, and that is to remain in charge. Take charge of your own life. Don't get into the habit of blaming anyone and everyone for things in your life that aren't necessarily living up to your expectations. Take charge and take responsibility, and your outlook might help you overcome those hurdles. I borrow from the word of scripture, Reverend Shadiafu, where in the word it says that the Lord Almighty didn't say that the weapons shall not be formed. He only said that the weapons will not prosper. So know that as graduates, the weapons will be formed against you. But with faith, with positive outlook, the weapons shall not prosper as long as you take charge. Therefore, finally, my thoughts are this as you undertake this new chapter of your life moving forward. Number one, milk every opportunity of leadership you have been granted. Be the best that you can be at whatever you do. Because as you leave this hall, whether you like it or not, you will be considered as a leader in the Republic of Namibia. You are leaders because you're going to be leaders in your community. There are going to be children looking up to you as graduates, and you need to ensure you inspire them to reach the milestones that you have reached today. But in doing so, you need to ensure you take that responsibility of leadership and make sure you make the best of every opportunity you get. There is something my mother always says, that in whatever I receive, I must make sure I am the best at it. I remember she made an example to say, even if you're going to be a health hygienist, be the best health hygienist the institution has ever seen. Because trust is not cheap. You will be going into places where people are going to place trust on you to do the work that you need to do, to add value to this beautiful country we call Namibia. But we cannot take that opportunity and use it willy-nilly. You need to ensure that you perform to the best of your ability, because that is the standard and quality you will bring to this nation. Number 2, you need to know your stuff. Like I said earlier, you need to be multidisciplined. You need to have some general knowledge. It's a big no-no to have educated people in this country, but they are still ignorant. We cannot allow that. This qualification is an indication that you, at some level, have received knowledge and that you can apply that knowledge. So let us continue to learn and continue to grow and know our stuff based on the knowledge we have received. There is, for example, a budget debate currently ongoing in Parliament. Just by a show of hands, dear graduates, how many of us are following that budget debate? You see now, what is going on, graduates? Are we not following? We're not following a national budget debate that determines whether Uncle Nasfaf gives you money or not. Huh? Non-tuition fees is determined in Parliament. Is it not? We need to follow. We need to get general knowledge. We need to follow national affairs. Otherwise, we'll become educated but ignorant about the realities of our country. So, dear graduates, the law determines how fast you drive on the road. The laws that are made in Parliament, including the budget, determines how much money is given to your university now, your alma mater, the University of Namibia. That is decided in the law-making chamber called Parliament. So we need to pay attention. The budget debate also determines, as you leave this hall, whether or not there's a vacancy where you want to apply to work as a teacher or a nurse, is it not? The very same budget debate determines whether or not income-generating programs by various government institutions like the Ministry of Education, Sports, Arts and Culture and Youth has income-generating projects that will get an amount of money, and whether or not you can get a loan from Development Bank of Namibia or Agri-Bank to start an agricultural business and become an entrepreneur. Does the budget not? Therefore, dear graduates, let us follow. So I'll give you this information for free, that next week, Thursday, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, our President, will deliver her maiden State of the Nation address on the 24th of April in Parliament. So let's please follow, dear graduates. Third, university, in my opinion, is the first school of life. We need to be grateful as graduates today, graduates tomorrow, that we're able to gain the knowledge that we have received, because not everybody gets the opportunity to go to school, and more importantly, to receive the lessons we receive when we get higher education. And that is why we cannot allow any further that common sense and basic knowledge is not always common in our society, even amongst those who are educated. We must be keepers of knowledge that we have acquired and not necessarily received. Because when you receive the knowledge through a lecture room, you decide what you do with it and how you apply it in the world. The next thing is network with your colleagues and build lasting relationships. Dear graduates, the next President Nangolo Mbumba might be sitting right next to you. Therefore, as a graduate, you need to have the ability to know how to network and how to build lasting relationships with those you're surrounded with. Everybody has value by virtue of being a human being. And we must accord that value to every other person by ensuring that we treat them with the dignity and respect that they deserve, but also knowing that your network is definitely your net worth. So continue to network, continue to grow that network of yours, because one day it will come in handy. In conclusion, there are many injustices happening in the world, and Namibia is not spared. The escalating amount of violence in our country is unprecedented. As a government, we have learned of the merciless rape and killing of a 5-year-old baby girl by the name of Ingrid Marsdorp in Okahanja. We offer comfort to the bereaved family. We all need to condemn in the strongest terms the continued harm to the most vulnerable members of our society. As a nation, as a patriotic people of Namibia, we must love and protect the most vulnerable. Otherwise, we fail to meet the basic standards of what a true nation is. When I was a student leader, I coined a quote which I think is still relevant today. And it goes, when injustice is not a priority to us, it is usually because we are not affected by the injustice yet. Let us not wait to be affected by injustice in order for us to raise our voices or to do something about it. It is up to all of us to uproot the continued violence that we're experiencing in our beautiful country. Mr. Chancellor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the University of Namibia and all educators for the work that they've done to make sure that the graduates reach this milestone. All of us, one way or another, have gone through the hands of teachers. And our Chancellor, being a former teacher, is testament to what teaching can do to uplift a nation. I also reflect on a quote by our former and late president, Dr. Hage G. Geingob, who often used to say, and may so rest in peace, that it is because of education that a son of a domestic worker and a farm worker could finally become the president of the Republic of Namibia. So we thank the University of Namibia and all the educators for ensuring that you continue to educate a nation, because an educated nation is a productive nation. And God knows we need to ensure productivity in our beautiful country. I would also like to thank all the parents and the guardians for supporting the graduates who will be graduating today. Many times, even as a student leader, you would see that some students do not have the support of their family. It makes it almost 2 times harder for them to achieve academic success. But as parents and guardians, because you supported all these graduates here today, you gave encouraging words, you held their hand. When they were going through examination stress, you uplifted their spirits. And that is why you are here today, even to support them as they celebrate their hard work. So thank you to every mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, uncle, aunt, cousin, sister, brother in the room for what you have done to ensure that Namibia can continue to educate its children. Finally, I wish all the graduates congratulations, and may the steps you take after you leave this hall enrich your lives and that of your family, and may you become productive citizens of the Republic of Namibia, and that we can continue to thrive as a nation. Mr. Chancellor, sir, thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for your kind attention.